The damage from torrential rains that swept across the Chinese province of Hunan last month is increasing. In particular, the number of deaths has tripled compared to the figures first announced at the end of July. And the number of confirmed deaths is predicted to increase as restoration work continues. In late July, Chinese media announced that 63 people were killed in the flood in Hunan province, but a truck driver testified that up to 6,300 people were killed in the Jingguang Tunnel. According to the Hunan provincial government tally, about 14.25 million people were affected by the flooding across 150 county-level areas, with 930,000 flood victims and 89,000 homes destroyed. But on August 1st, the authorities again announced an implausible number of fatalities from the flood, and that was only 302. Of course, most people don't believe the official announcement made by the Chinese authorities. But just a few days ago, the interview of 3 men who fled from the Jingguang Tunnel, where thousands of vehicles were flooded, became a hot topic in China. They entered the Jingguang Tunnel on the day of the disaster. They say that the vehicles stopped in the tunnel, and when the water pooled everywhere, they realized that something was wrong. Soon the water flooded everything, and a man named Wu Chang immediately tried to escape with his brother-in-law and the driver when the rescue team did not answer the phone. The ingress of the water was so strong that the cars immediately began to drift away. Only with great effort did they manage to climb through the sunroof on the roof of the car. A moment later, the lights in the tunnel went out, and they thought everything was over. However, fortunately, they were able to hold on to the pipe connected to the tunnel vents and managed to escape along the pipe. And their escape story was captured by citizens and made headlines. Wu Chang remembered the situation at the time. After the water started to rise, the tunnel was flooded in less than 10 minutes. When we came out, there was no one around. I've cried twice in the last 2 days because I was so scared back then. In this situation, a video of a truck with a banner saying, Zhengzhou City Funeral Association in Shandong Province will be with the people of the Hunan Province was posted on the internet on July 26. And at that time, the official death toll was 63, not 308. Shandong Province is an area on the right side of the Hunan Province, hundreds of kilometers away. This means that funeral directors have left Shandong Province for Hunan Province to help with the funeral. Although the official death toll was only 63, funeral parlors come to Hunan Province from Shandong Province, 100 kilometers away, and that's what makes it all seem implausible. Referring to this video, Chinese internet users say it like this. These comments were left before August. They are coming from Shandong Province because of 63 people? How many people have died? After Wuhan, the Funeral Association seems to have become a secret agency. The situation around the number of victims is reminiscent of what happened last year in the city of Wuhan. In China, funerals and crematoriums are usually run together, and normally there is no problem because there are enough facilities and personnel. But after so many people died at the same time from C-19, a large number of people and equipment were dispatched to assist the forces stationed in Wuhan to support the Hankou crematorium. In fact, China has constantly reduced the number of deaths in Wuhan, which in turn was revealed, among other things, from the large number of urns handed out at the funeral home. China's media Caixin visited the Hankou cremation site last year. There they encountered a truck carrying thousands of urns and found that the death toll in Wuhan was more than 42,000, more than 15 times the official announcement. The tragedy that played out in Wuhan last year is now repeated on the similar scale at the Zhengzhou cremation site. The real situation of Zhengzhou cremation was revealed by the brother of a Chinese government official who died in the Jingguang Tunnel. He explained like this. When you enter the Zhengzhou crematorium in Erchi district, you see countless corpses covered with black shit. Tens of thousands of people come here to find their missing family members, but they are evicted by the police. Everyone cries over and over again. It's a terrible situation. As the public mood in China repeatedly deteriorated due to the Jingguang Tunnel disaster, China began to control the situation like they did in the Wuhan last year. The first target for these were foreign journalists. When journalists started reporting on the scene, the Chinese authorities issued an emergency notice to local officials to stop their reporting. The following is the contents of the emergency notice at this time. Several foreign media are currently reporting on the Jingguang Tunnel. As this case is sensitive, the local officials should visit restaurants and shops and make them not to have interviews with foreign journalists. Do not notify people of this via SMS or WeChat, but visit all of the resident houses in person and tell them this personally. And that is why the incident may have happened. On July 24th, the reporters from the Deutsche Welle and the Los Angeles Times were surrounded by crowds on the streets of Zhengzhou. Even an AFP reporter who filmed the tunnel situation had to delete all recording footage. This is how a reporter from Beringa explained the situation at the time. They pushed me and shouted, "Don't shame China, you are a bad guy." Some people even tried to take my cell phone away from me. In this chaotic situation, the fake survivor has even emerged who claims to have escaped from the Jingguang Tunnel. The man who claims to be a survivor had an interview with the Chinese media and was smiling the whole time. Everyone in the tunnel escaped with ease. It doesn't make sense that it took less than 10 minutes for the water to fill the tunnel. In fact, it took 40 minutes. Everyone fled because someone over a loudspeaker called for everyone to flee. Everyone was sorry to leave the car there, but they weren't afraid at all. Angry Chinese internet users left comments on this video. The Chinese authorities are trying to control the situation. It's too pretentious. Look at the grin on his face. It's all part of the script. Meanwhile, there appears that the disaster on the Zhengzhou subway was bigger than expected. An internet user revealed that he was told by an acquaintance who works for the insurance company in Zhengzhou that they paid 4 million yuan, about $600 million, in compensation for the 91 flooded subways. And the flooded subways were already pulled out, but every window was covered with black cloths, just like the buses from the Jingguang Tunnel. Of course, everyone knows why they covered the subway windows with black cloths. Also, from the numerous wreaths at the entrance of the subway, one can clearly see that there were more victims in the subway than the official announcement from the Chinese media. The Chinese citizens are upset about this. Many citizens cry outside the subway and urge the government to find their missing family members, but the government claims that only 12 people died in the floods. Despite the alleged deaths of only 12 people, countless wreaths of flowers are piling up at the entrance to the subway. And this shows once again the sad truth behind these stories. This video was made with support from Patreon and YouTube membership. Thanks for watching. Be safe.